Hey guys, Lena here, good to have you back. You may have seen me in some previous videos. As a singer, songwriter and a music producer, I'm super excited to present you Arturia's new updated version of one of the most beloved electric pianos, Stage-73 V2. Let's see what it's all about. Stage-73 V2 is a virtual electric piano emulation inspired by the classic Rhodes sound, which was heavily used by the legends such as The Doors, Herbie Hancock and Miles Davis. It was also extremely popular in the 90s thanks to acts like Portishead and Tricky, namely thanks to its warm and characteristic sound. Even today, it's a must-have sound for any keyboard player. After the successful first version of the Stage-73, Arturia is back with a revamped design, a new set of controls and a fresh array of effects to enhance its unique modeling sound engine. In this overview, we'll walk you through all of the newly added functions and the instrument's new structure. The front panel welcomes us with a beautifully designed interface. More than that, Stage-73 V2 comes with two models, Suitcase and Stage, based on the two well-known versions of the classic instrument. The first version we'll try out is the Stage model. It comes with a 73 and 74 switch, which bounces back and forth between the bass boost and tone features. These basically allow you to add a bit of the low frequencies, or darken the sound by trimming down the higher ones. On top of that, you can use the volume knob to boost the loudness. This one comes before the effects in the signal chain and allows you to add the distortion before you will process the sound further. Let's find the optimal value. Okay, here we go. Okay, this might be a good starting point for further investigation. Let's check out the Suitcase look and its set of functions. So in the Suitcase mode, the main panel is also simple but provides a bit more controls to play with. The main difference comes with the vibrato. There's also a volume parameter and a basic filtering section. The treble and bass settings really depend on what you're after. Let's set them both to 5 and start from there. If you like to perform with just Rhodes and your voice, it's a good idea to set the bass fader a bit higher than the treble one. That's because the voice will occupy mostly mid and high frequencies, therefore creating more space for the bassy parts of the Stage-73. Let's move on to vibrato. The classic effect is a huge part of the original Rhodes sound. When you turn it on, it instantly gives us that iconic feel that you can't resist. To further tweak this effect, use the intensity control, which will increase the depth of the vibrato applied, like this. The speed control, on the other hand, will make the vibrations much faster and dense. Or very slow and subtle. Alright, now that we know the basics of the Stage-73, let's dive deeper into its extra functions. Let's start with the velocity settings. By default, the curve is set to linear, so if we hit the keys softly, the sound will be quiet. And by hitting them harder, we will reach the maximum velocity value, thus making the sound louder. The available options, however, go a few steps further. The fun begins when you personalize the curve to suit your style. To begin with, you can use a few default presets that will change the velocity response. There you can try the exponential one, the fixed one, where velocity level is always the same, or the logarithmic, which is the opposite of the exponential. Each one of these changes the way the velocity responds to the force applied to the keyboard. What's best though is that you can also draw your own shapes, which makes the velocity response truly customizable. To do it, simply click the curve. This action will create a point. You can set up to 16 points, creating some unique responses. Once you come up with a few, you can easily store them in the velocity curve presets section. Moving on to the advanced settings, the next section presents various instrument controls. Here we gain access to different instrument models, global tuning, hammer hardness, and the output types. The model presets resemble the various Rhodes models released across the years. These include the classic 1 and 2. Let's check them out now. Okay, next are the main and Mark V. And the last one, called Modern, let's check it out as well. As you can hear, each one has its own characteristics which make it distinct from one another. The first two resemble the iconic sound. The main and Mark V have more high-end tones, while the Modern is more subtle, round, and soft, which personally I like the most. It's nice. You can also change the hammer hardness parameter. This will change the force with which the hammer hits the tines. All of this based on meticulous modeling of the original unit. Let's try the different settings while playing a little melody. The last function in this section allows you to change the output line from mono through stereo up until the room mic's emulation. This defines if the sound is captured through mono or stereo lines, or recorded with microphones. Next three parameters deal with the mechanical components that make the Rhodes sound like it does. The pickup distance defines the distance between the pickups and the tines. If the parameter is close to 0, we will only hear the mechanical components, and as we increase the value, the typical harmonics of the Rhodes sound start to appear. Pickup alignment, on the other hand, influences the tone and the color by setting the position of the pickup. This lets you go from soft and dark to clear and bright. Finally, the damper will work similarly to the release in the ADSR envelope, increasing the time between the release of the key and the release of the sound. This is a gateway to achieving more unusual presets. I sometimes like to set it to maximum. See what happens. The last few options include additional noise controls plus a few acoustical enhancements. The pickup noise introduces the background noise from the pickup circuit. Hammer noise produces the noise caused by the hammer hitting the tines, sounding more like a percussive tone. Tine noise, on the other hand, adds a little bright resonance of the tines, hearable at the attack and release stages. While the damper noise adjusts the presence of the noise that occurs when the dampers hit the tines. All of these controls made the iconic sound more warm and fuzzy, so go ahead and use them if you're looking for that classic rough around the edges tone. Lastly, we can manipulate some controls responsible for the dynamics and toolbar. The dynamics control defines the volume difference between the notes when playing soft or loud, keeping the timbre unchanged. This might be useful when you want to play with various levels of the force applied on the keys. Let's hear it in action. The last control, called tone bar resonance, defines the decay of the higher frequencies of your sound. Well, that was very cool. Now let's explore the new effects section, which is a huge upgrade from the previous Stage-73 version. It's here where the Stage-73 really goes beyond its natural tone, transforming itself into a totally different beast. To access the panel, simply press the FX button in the top right corner. Inside, you are presented with two separate sections. The first one consists of 4 FX slots for various spatial, dynamic, and modulation effects, while the amp section brings 2 amplifier models and the additional convolution reverb. The amp section features 2 types, twin and rotary speaker. These will strengthen the signal, giving it a bit of its own character. Let's hear how they sound. The sound instantly gets warmer and crispier. We can also manipulate it by adjusting the frequency spectrum. As well as adding the tremolo effect. Remaining options include the bright mode, a bit of the drive for more crunch, and internal reverb. With just a few tweaks, it already sounds so good. Every element in the FX rig gives us its own very unique result. Okay, it's time to discover the rotary speaker amp mode. Let's enable it and play a few notes. It sends the sound in a completely different direction, but sounding more like phasing modulation. Now, if we also enable the fast mode, it suddenly turns into an organ sound. Check it out. Now let's move on to the reverb and 4 FX pedal slots. The reverb found on the right side of the panel offers 10 model presets that resemble various types of spaces. From room through the warehouse up until the concert hall, you get the whole package. Let's try out those. Okay, that was super lush and spacey, really nice. You obviously get lots of control over each one of those reverb types. On top of it all, the rich FX section gives us 4 additional pedal slots. In each slot, there are 13 various effects. Dynamic, spatial, modulation, you get them all. The first one is the chorus. Let's put it on. Alright, now let's try the flanger and phaser. That's even better. I could easily stop here and play with this sound forever. As you hear, the modulation effects are super soft and captivating. They really fit the Stage-73 Rhodes sound, instantly giving it a more cosmic feel. Let's check out how the distortion will enrich the sound. As you can hear, it's a perfect addition to the distorted harmonics. However, a delay will make it even better. Let's add it too. Okay, that's it for the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed how amazing and diverse Stage-73 V2 can be, from the classic sounds of yesterday to inspiring sounds of tomorrow. It's got you covered. Give it a try, enjoy the experience, and as always, be creative with your ideas. Thank you guys for watching, and see you soon.